Pricing your services correctly can be the difference between getting a client, landing that deal, or losing clients and losing the deals, especially when you're a younger agency that doesn't have a lot of testimonials or history of success. Because of this, I've put together a document, and I'm going to go over it here in this video, on all the different kinds of agency monetization models that are most popularly used today. And I'm also going to go over the pricing variations and what each of them implies for what you have to do for fulfillment and what's going to be expected of you. As a bonus, I've also put in a range of what you should expect. So younger agencies can expect to be charging this, and then as you start to acquire more clients, more testimonials, more history of success, you can start to increase your pricing at that range. The goal here, guys, is to figure out which pricing model best fits your personal goals. That means your optimal selling strategy for your business, but it also means you're building and acting as if solvable problem, right? So we're building and acting as if we already have the life business thing that we want. It's not always a straight line. So it doesn't always mean charge more money, make more money, get more clients, get more employees. That's not a straight line to have more freedom. If your goal is just to spend more time with your family, go on more vacations, you can do that at a much smaller number than somebody who wants to have a huge impact, build an empire, etc. So the first thing you need to do always is go figure out your solvable problem so that you can reverse engineer it to how you get there. And this is going to be a piece of that puzzle, figuring out which monetization model is perfect for you. So knowing that, let's go over to the document and dive in. So again, guys, pricing your agency services, again, can be the difference between landing and losing a client, especially repeating this again for you because it's really important when you're a young agency with limited testimonials and case studies. In this document, I go over the most common types of monetization models and structures so that you know what fits your ideal business and lifestyle best. You can go ahead and download this directly below this video as well. Types of monetization models, guys, the 3 or 4 main ones here, right? First one, done for you. Second, done with you. Third nowadays is SaaS, and then you've got consulting as well. So let's go through a few of these. So done for you, guys, this is the model you typically think of when you're talking about starting an SMMA marketing agency. This is where you're going to be doing a lot of work. You're going to be writing the copy, designing their graphics, doing their media buying, and managing their ad campaigns on various platforms. Especially in the beginning, you're going to be in charge of doing all of this. And if you want AI to help you, check around, look at some of my other videos so you can see that. But in the beginning, you're going to be doing a lot of this yourself. You're often going to need to write their follow-up emails, text messages, and other systems as well. In this model, you are doing everything for them in the entire marketing system, either you or your team or people you're outsourcing, but you are in complete control of every aspect, all the way from finding the first people, creating the offer, driving the traffic, and getting at least sales calls booked for their sales team, or maybe even all the way to the actual sale. The pros here is that you have total control over the entire process. So if you've really got your system dialed in, you can charge a lot of money and you can get a lot of very fast, quick results. The cons here is that a lot of this is a lot of work, especially if you're not systemized, right? A common pitfall that a younger agency like one of you people that might be watching this fall into is they're doing custom work for multiple industries. Well, what that means is you then have to write new copy, new graphics, do new CRM systems, follow-up sequences for every individual client. If you're doing what we teach, which is create the assembly line agency, then you would be running it for just realtors, and you could run pretty much the same copy, same follow-up email, same ads in different markets and have it work, and it will be a lot less work. But a lot of people aren't. So it's a lot of work if it's not systemized. Lack of sales can be blamed almost entirely on you, and a lot of the clients will. If you do not have the results that month, you may very well be one of the first people fired. Done for you is often a transactional offer, meaning every 30 days or every 60 days or every 90 days, there's X result attached to it. And if you start to fall off, it can be blamed on you and you can get fired. And this is why a lot of agencies have like a 2-month life cycle, because they're not getting those results in the done for you, right? Where none of the blame can be shifted at all fast enough. Then there's done with you. This is kind of a hybrid between consulting, meaning I'm just going to teach you how to do it, and done for you, where I'm just going to do the thing for you and you're going to see the results. This model here is a combination, again, of consulting and doing the rest of it for them. It can be anything from consulting on offers and copywriting to doing the media buying and running their entire ad campaigns, but consulting on their sales process. So what it means is you're doing something for them, but you're consulting on the rest, whether that be the offer, their systems, their sales, their ads. Something is you bring that expertise to it, and then you're teaching them and coaching them and doing the rest on the side. A lot of people will do done for you, say Facebook ad campaigns for like realtors, and then they'll do, instead of weekly coaching calls with their clients, they do a group weekly or bi-weekly coaching calls with all of them so that they can continuously be improving a bunch of their other stuff. You could also consider done with you something like our GSD model, right, where we actually do write some of the copy for some of the people. We'll run ad campaigns for some of our students if they're at the right place for that, right? And then we have our daily coaching calls and stuff that we help them with everything else. So it's very much done with you because we're teaching and we're also doing some of it for them. Pros here is it normally is less overall work than fully done for you services. Cons is there's less end-to-end control, meaning whatever you're teaching them, you're still needing them to go out and actually apply. So you don't have as much end-to-end control over the process. Then we have the SaaS model. Okay, this is a newer model made possible by the introduction of the high-level software. It's easy to sell as a low-ticket service or create a powerful high-ticket service such as AI, database reactivation, and others, and it involves very little fulfillment if done correctly, or it can be combined with done-for-you services to create a truly super-powered service. This last one is what we did inside of our real estate department in our high-ticket agency. Was we created the follow-up monster for real estate. And what it allowed us to do is we used it in conjunction with our sales team for our high ticket done for you product. So we were able to take what would have been probably a $1,500 or $2,000 a month service and ramp it up to $5,000 a month, because now you've got automations for text message automations, email automations, database reactivation services, missed call text back sequences, funnels, websites, everything built right into that SaaS that went along with all the rest of the stuff that we were doing. We even at the time had an ISA call center that was doing it for them. Nowadays we use the AI setters. So doing all of that now takes you from potentially, right, whatever you have for the list, and you can add all this stuff to it to make it a premium high ticket service. The pros here is you have far less fulfillment than the other models. It can be a much longer retention cycle if done properly. It's not some magic thing that you don't have to work away at, but it can be a lot better for retention if done properly. Very powerful when combined with done for you service like I just discussed. Cons, lower ticket often, which results in needing more customers. And if you don't lock in your retention, you don't make this a thing, you can end up really spinning your tires at lower revenue and income levels and feel like you can't get ahead as fast as you could if you were only selling the high ticket stuff. And then finally, model number 4 is we have consulting. This model is where you are consulting or coaching your clients on how to do the things themselves instead of doing it for them. This shifts a lot of the responsibility of endpoint success to them, and it allows you to also fulfill at scale with a much smaller team, as there are much fewer moving parts. You're just teaching. You can teach in a group setting. You can teach multiple times a week, but in a very boundary-filled hour maybe of every couple of days on specific topics, and you can actually have a lot bigger reach and scalability with this. You will want to shift away from one-on-one consulting. A lot of people will start out when they do this model is they'll start out on the consulting one-to-one people, thinking that that allows them to get them much better results, thinking that's allowing them to help people. But you really want to move away from that quickly, as it's not possible really to scale that beyond a certain amount. The other side of that is often people don't need one-to-one, right? You can have one-to-one time in a group setting. A lot of people will learn from everything else that's going on. I personally prefer the group setting because of the amount of other people that are getting to partake and learn and improve everybody else's stuff along the way. Then we've got the pros here. Again, responsibility for end success shifts a little bit to the client. You are blamed and fired less easily. People tend to, in a consulting setting when they're learning, they tend to react less and be a little bit more proactive. And they tend to take on some of the responsibility for themselves because they are expected to go implement and apply the thing. Whereas in a done-for-you completely situation, it's really all on you. The model is easily scaled to make more money and also help more people. This is one of the models that most people want to use when it comes time to say that their goal, their build and act as if, right, is impact. They want to impact more people. They want to create more help. They want to help more. So that comes pretty easily with this type of a model. And then cons, you have less direct control over the process and their actual success. Combining these models, right, allows us to create our flywheel. Okay, so for an example of this, right, what we have for us is evaluators. You have email list, group, YouTube channel. Beginners, downsells can be your SaaS only, right? So for us specifically in the GSD, we have for evaluators, and again up here, right, evaluators are free people. We have our Facebook group and our YouTube channel. For beginners, we have our VIP Diamond Club, super low ticket, and you still get to spend an hour with us coaching every week and get a course. Regulars, there's the main GSD program. And then champions, there's a retention model, done for you services, and also we get to do interviews with people inside of our group. Each one of these things feeds into the other, and all of our marketing and content and everything else that we do feeds into these as well. For you as an agency, you could combine a couple of these models to create this flywheel for yourself, right? So you would probably start out with just done for you, but eventually as you start to get more of a list, you can do so that you have evaluators. You want to have your email list, a group, a YouTube channel. You pick where your optimal selling strategy is, where you're most comfortable with spending your time, because it's going to be a commitment. You have to build this out. It's not going to be overnight. Beginners and downsells can be your SaaS only product. Regulars can be your done with you plus consulting, and then champions can be your done for you plus SaaS. So in this situation, it would be along the lines of you're consistently going to be doing something like this, where it's I'm going to do your ads for you, and I'm going to do a group consulting coaching call every single week with everybody else. Okay. Now your ads and your content and everything is selling your scary offer for this. Then you're building your email list as you get opt-ins for this, or you're building your YouTube channel talking about this. And some of the calls that you have, you just downsell them into only a $297 SaaS, right? Eventually you do all done for you and you add your SaaS into it and you've got your champion. Now this is just an example, guys, but the flywheel model is a superpower for being able to combine a lot of these models all into one awesome business that pushes it forward. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk a tiny bit about how we actually price these services. So now that we understand each of these different models, okay, I want you guys to understand these services. So we have a big range on a couple of them. Done for you and done with you. Primarily, you're going to be charging $1K a month, and this is management. So this is not including ad spend or any of those other fees on top of it. So you've got $1,000 per month to $5,000 per month for both done with you and done for you. And I want to emphasize again, these are averages of what we're seeing. We ourselves have run an agency for about 20 years and we've helped about 400 different agencies now price this out. Normally people are starting around here or just below here for their management fees, quickly getting to 4 or 5 clients at least, up to maybe 10 clients, and then shifting to around $2,500 a month, and then eventually once you've got a couple of dozen, then you get up into the $5K a month range. Part of this is because you have more proof as you go along, so you can charge higher prices. But the other part of this is as you start to stretch your time, your client roster gets filled and you actually don't have enough time to bring on a whole bunch of new clients. And so you charge more just to limit the amount of clients you're bringing on. So it's a twofold effect for both of those. Pay per lead, pay per call is a type of done for you or done with you pricing model. Okay, so for this type of pricing model, you want to have your clients do a minimum initial buy of leads. You don't want to say, hey, it costs $20 a lead and they just come with you for like $60, right? That's not going to be conducive. You're going to be wasting a lot of your time. So you want to have them do that or buy monthly buckets of leads. For our real estate Rainmaker agency, we had them pay $3,500 to $5,000 for a bucket of 30 to 45 leads, guaranteed live transfers. Okay, so we created essentially a minimum retainer. So it was really like a $3,500 a month or $5,000 a month retainer, but we were selling it to them as pay per lead or a pay per live transfer because they were getting it for, I think, $125 at the time per live transfer for our real estate clients. So you want to be able to use this as a really, really easy sell. Pay per lead, pay per call is a much easier sell because they're paying per result. So in their brain, they're really getting something guaranteed for their money every single time. But you want to make sure you have these minimum buckets or these minimum things in place in order to make sure that you get yours. Consulting was the final one here. Okay, so consulting is actually going to be $5,000 to $8,500, and you're going to be doing 3 to 6 month contracts on this. So this is more like the coaching models, that kind of stuff. These are the average prices of products. Okay, you could do a beta launch that's a little bit less than 5K, but normally you're going to do 5K for 3 to 6 months, and then eventually as you get more and more clientele, you can start to up it to 8,500. The one thing that I was missing on here was the SaaS, and the SaaS you're normally going to charge $197 to $497 per month, Now, high level actually has a minimum. You cannot sell it for less than $97 a month. So in theory, you could remove this and say $97 a month, but most people, what you're going to be doing for this, and what I'm seeing, what we sold ours for was $297 a month, and then we had an add-on to be able to do database reactivation every month with it, which was $497, and that was the SaaS only. Okay, so again, once we understand all of this, what we're looking at, I'm going to make this bigger since it's on this page, right, is using this to create our flywheel, to create our optimal selling strategy. So hopefully this was helpful, guys. Again, I want to emphasize one last time that understanding these pricing models and how to use them and how to price your services can really be the difference between getting clients, being successful, and losing clients and never being able to close a sale. So I want you to not only watch this video a couple of times, drop your notes and your comments for what your takeaways are, but I also would very much like for you to download the actual document down below this video, go over it a bunch of times and price out what your pricing structure should be now and what you think your next step in your pricing structure should be. This is going to be a living, breathing animal, right, guys? Supply and demand. What people are charging right now at the time of me shooting this video for you guys might be a little different from what they're charging then. So always also be doing your market research, see what your competitors are charging, what people at your level are actually pricing their services at, and make sure that you have the most updated information. Otherwise, let's get out there, implement this, and get shit done. I'll see you on the next one.